Welcome along, ladies and gentlemen. It is great to be back once again at Hooton Park in Cheshire, and we're preparing for a great Sunday of racing action for Indikart Plus, for great battles from Bambino, from the Micromax, Honda and DRS groups, the Senior Rotax 177, Juniors and Senior Rotax. It's going to be a great day at the office. We are in for a fabulous battle out on the circuit, and even though there is some high pressure, we had some heavy rain yesterday evening in what is turning into a bit of a scorcher of a weekend. There is a sort of threat of more rain in the air. Looked at the weather forecast this morning. It might just about hit in turn for the finals. That could be quite precarious if it happens at the wrong moment. However, everybody is ready to see what could occur. Hello everybody, Jake Sanson here with you from TDI Media at Hooton Park in Cheshire. On the main start-finish straight, it is going to be a really exciting battle based on what we've seen in the qualifying sessions earlier on today. It's going to be quite tight as they all battle away for position. The first race out on the circuit is going to be the first heat for Bambinos, and they head out onto the circuit now. Just 5 of them in this race weekend, but obviously these are the drivers that are just beginning their racing careers. Everybody's got to start somewhere in the world of motor racing, and in Bambino they start from as young as 6, in some cases even younger than that. So Theo Jepsen is the one who bagged the fastest time from qualifying, 46.288 on the timing screen for the number 14. Elsie Gannon just a tenth of a second off that pace. And then Ethan Hume is in 3rd position on the starting grid. Max Joy in 4th. And then it is young Ethan Taylor who lines up in 5th place on the starting grid. So the competitors gearing themselves up ready for an exciting race in front of us in the Bambino category. And the drivers will make their way to the starting grid, and they will obviously have a standing start in Bambino, as they do as well in the Indy Hondas. But a fabulous race battle it's going to be as the competitors gear up for another exciting showcase. And we're going to have a tough race here between Theo Jepsen and Elsie Gannon. A tenth of a second between them in time qualifying is very close indeed. So it looks like we're going to have quite an interesting run to the first corner. And of course, in standing start procedure in Bambinos, it's all going to be about who has the best reactions on the run to the first corner. So the competitors gearing themselves up ready at the start of action here at Hooton Park in Cheshire, just a stone's throw away from the Vauxhall factory outside the town of Ellesmere Port in Cheshire. So we're getting ourselves ready for a sensational battle out on the circuit. Theo Jepsen and Elsie Gannon will have that front row of the grid from Hume, Joy and young Ethan Taylor. Away we go. Not a great start for Ethan Hume, having some problems off the grid, but a best start of all for Elsie Gannon. Gannon has charged forward to take the lead in the first heat as they get through the first corner on the first lap. So a good start from Elsie Gannon in front of Theo Jepsen. And then we have Max Joy through into 3rd position, the 55, ahead of young Ethan Taylor. And then Ethan Hume, I think, has managed to get moving after all. But a very difficult start off the grid for him. So as Ethan Hume continues on his way back in 5th position, Elsie Gannon holding the early pace. Qualifying pace is not the same as racecraft. You've got to make sure you hold it into position everywhere you go. So Elsie Gannon holding on at the front end of the field in very neat trim, as things are going very well indeed for her at the time being. She runs there in in the lead of the race, I should say, with Theo Jepsen in 2nd, trying to get the move on her as they come down the main straight. And there is the opportunity for Theo Jepsen to try and come through on the inside into turn 1. And it's a bold move, but it's a great move. Up into the lead of the race goes Theo Jepsen, having sat in 2nd position for the entirety of the first tour. But now Elsie Gannon is going to have to try and come back, and he's already having a think about it into turn 3. Late on the brakes, and Elsie Gannon back through to take the lead, but she's going to run out on the exit, and Theo Jepsen will be straight back alongside. Great racing between the two Bambino leaders. Gannon does hold it on the inside though for the left-hander. So very nice dueling between Gannon and Jepsen. And these two young superstars in the making, having a terrific run. Elsie Gannon and Theo Jepsen. Through to the hairpin at the end of the lap and across the line for the end of lap 2. And Theo Jepsen's going to come straight back in there to Elsie Gannon again down the main straight, using the slipstring to good effect. And he's going to take the lead again. No, he's not. Elsie Gannon goes longer on the brakes this time. So Elsie Gannon is going to hold on to the Indikart Plus Bambino lead for the moment here in Heat 1. Fantastic run so far from Elsie Gannon, just keeping it nice and tidy in front of Theo Jepsen. She chops across on the exit of turn 3. That's to keep Theo Jepsen a little bit at bay. But again, Gannon is just placing the card exactly where she needs to be to keep Theo Jepsen at bay. Just giving Theo a little taste of the inside line there. Not quite giving him the space to go through. Totally allowed to hold her racing line. She's the leader. She can place the cart wherever she feels is necessary. As they come off the turn again, this is Theo Jepsen having another go. The first time was successful. The second time was not. What about the third time? No, he's going to hang back. Elsie Gannon's learnt from that mistake of losing the lead in turn 1 on the second lap. And she is definitely holding Theo Jepsen to ransom at the moment. Gannon versus Jepsen, a very solid start here in the Bambino first heat of the weekend. Out of the turn. Back up to the left-hand sweep. Theo Jepsen looking for his move. Just can't quite find the opportunity. It's very early doors. You don't want to rush this. Still a long way to go in this race. As they will battle away for position. The two drivers just keeping it nice and tidy up front. But Theo Jepsen getting hungrier with each passing apex. Out of the final turn. Down the home straight again. Theo Jepsen again right on the tail of Gannon. Gannon looking just briefly over her shoulder to see where Jepsen is. Jepsen is right with her. Through the first right. Through the second right. And up to the hairpin. This is where Theo Jepsen looks very strong. He's been very good over the first two corners. And now he's going to make his bid into turn 3. No, Gannon holds it again round the outside. And make sure that Theo Jepsen doesn't have the line to come through. Very nicely handled from both drivers here. Jepsen is giving as good as he's got, and Gannon is placing her cart in exactly the right position around the racetrack to thwart the onslaught. Very good work indeed from Elsie Gannon. She holds this from Jepsen, then Joy, Taylor and Hume. But of course this is only the first heat of the day. So Gannon got the best start. Jepsen is still hunting very rapidly indeed. Is there going to be another chance as Jepsen comes into the inside line? This time, surely he commits, and he's there, but Gannon's still there around the outside. Gannon trying to hold it right round the outside at turn 2, and it's not quite enough. So Gannon has to let Jepsen go by this time. Theo Jepsen, determined and absolutely ruthless to get into the lead through turn 2. I genuinely thought Gannon was going to have the upper hand there around the outside to hold the lead, but Jepsen just forced her hand and she had to back off the throttle. And that was enough for Theo Jepsen to take advantage and take the lead. So as he comes through at the end of lap 6, it's going to be Theo Jepsen that will hold the lead now. Doing a fantastic job so far as the contenders give us plenty of drama and suspense out there. And Gannon's coming back at Jepsen. Gannon will try again here. Confidence into turn 1. Thank you very much. Jepsen tries to get the undercut, but Gannon is in exactly the right place to counteract it. Great racing between these two. Jepsen tries again now into turn 3, and I think he's going to have the confidence, but Gannon's going to have the run around the outside. So Elsie Gannon holds third position, holds the lead, at turn 3. Very nicely done from Gannon. Max Joyce just trying to stay in touch with these two at the moment. But when you notice how tight these two are in terms of their qualifying times, there was only a whisker over a tenth of a second between them. But Gannon seems to have the upper hand in terms of racecraft. They come off the turn, across the line to complete lap 7, and it's still Gannon versus Jepsen. Jepsen trying again into turn 1. Gannon knows he's there. He's got a much better run off the final turn. Gannon's going to try and go for the switcheroo to retaliate, but this time Jepsen has the lead. So Jepsen takes it back from Elsie Gannon. Gannon's got a good run off turn 2 though, and she's got confidence at turn 3. So Gannon's going to get back into the lead again. But will she drift wide on the exit? Jepsen's got a chance. No, so Gannon holds the lead. Great racing already, and this is only heat 1 of the Bambinos. They're having a terrific squabble, these two. Elsie Gannon in the 66 and Theo Jepsen in the 14. Swapping and trading the lead every time they go into a decent braking zone. They come off the hairpin, onto the main straight again. And this is going to be Theo Jepsen having yet another bite at the cherry. Down the straight. Can he have a go? In the first corner, confidence, plants it. Nicely done. Elsie Gannon's got a smooth run through turn 1. If she can have a faster line through 2, she might get a chance again into 3. She's looking good on the chase. And a little bit of a grass rub from Theo Jepsen, but Gannon was not quite close enough on that occasion to retaliate. So they come back up towards the left-handers. Jepsen's still protecting. Gannon's looking very hungry there in 4 and 5. They come through the chicane once again. Through the right, through the left. Lap times are so comparable between these two. Thousandths of a second between them on terms of pace. And as they come off the turn again, this time it's Gannon chasing as we go into the last lap, the 10th and final tour of the heat, and Gannon's going to have a run down to the first corner. Here comes the bid from Elsie Gannon, and she's through. Jepsen's going to try and switch back. No, you don't. Elsie Gannon's taken back the lead going into the final lap. Through turn 2. Jepson's going to have a good run out of 2. Gannon knows he's there. And I think there's going to be enough confidence to run round the outside for Elsie Gannon. Brilliantly defended. Terrific from Elsie Gannon. Holds Theo Jepson at second. And Elsie Gannon, that is a brave manoeuvre around the outside to hold on to the lead. Another driver might have lost it there, trying to desperately cling on, but no, Elsie Gannon has the confidence and the peace of mind round the outside. Jepson is coming back at her in the hope that he can overhaul her across the line, but Elsie Gannon is going to take this just in front of Theo Jepson. It's a heat win, but she's celebrating as if she's won the final. Great job from Elsie Gannon. Really good race. Max Joy will come home in third place in front of Ethan Hume, and then Ethan Taylor will bounce back in fifth position. What a run from Gannon and Jepson. Terrific racing between the two drivers. They really gave us great product, great quality there all the way through those 10 laps. Swapping the lead every single corner pretty much. As Elsie Gannon, what a great race between her and Theo Jepson. Terrific racing so far. And Elsie Gannon absolutely managing to overturn the pace that we saw from Theo Jepson in qualifying. There's still a long way to go, don't forget. We've still got a lot of things still to do. However, it's a great start to proceedings as far as Elsie Gannon and Theo Jepson are concerned. Well, we hope you enjoyed the first race of the day. We hope you were able to see the first race of the day. A slight technical glitch, but we've just had a thrilling encounter in the Indikart Plus Bambino opening heat between Elsie Gannon and Theo Jepson, and they finished in that order after an absolute thrilling encounter. Elsie Gannon managing to hold the lead around the outside in fantastic fashion. And now we get ourselves underway with the next race of the day, which is the Micromax and Honda battle. It's going to be really interesting to see how the competitors get on to proceedings. We've not just got Micromax and Honda, we also have one Daniel Ricciardo Series kart in the frame. That is the number 9 of Ashton Redpath, who's going to be starting from third position on the grid. But it's Archie Smith and Austin Gresty in their Micromaxes first and second. Ashton Redpath in the DRS kart in third. And then Layla Bell in fourth position in her Micromax. And then we have a pair of Hondas as well for Redlind and Tom Nichols. So we have class battles going on at the same time as an overall race battle. Are we going to go racing? First time of asking. Yes, we are. Good start from Archie Smith. Takes the lead into the first corner. Austin Gresty hangs on into second position as they run their way through. And up to third has come Ashton Redpath, almost going over the back of the 21 of Austin Gresty. Such was his eagerness to move forward. But Layla Bell finds herself in fourth position. And then we have the two Hondas of Redlind and Tom Nichols. One of those fabulous moments where you get to ask that age-old question, which is a quicker kart, a Micromax or a Honda? Well, certainly at the moment here at Hooton Park, and based on practice and qualifying, it's Micromax. But Ashton Redpath doing a fair job in third position, having worked his way past Layla Bell. They complete the first lap. And it's obviously been a very solid start to proceedings as Ashton Redpath in the DRS machine works himself into a good position there, third place. So your race lead is Archie Smith doing a grand job in front of Austin Gresty, already starting to pull out a little bit of a gap. Redpath in third, then Layla Bell, Redlind and Tom Nichols. There is Austin Gresty's details, currently running in second position from just down the road in Urmston in Manchester, a town made famous from the Dinner Ladies episode. Those who have seen that particular episode know exactly how amusing a town Urmston became in BBC television back in those days. Yes, I'm old enough to remember that. Yes, fabulous young chap, Austin Gresty, from the town of Urmston, just outside in the borough of Greater Manchester, I should say. Ashton Redpath, third position. Layla Bell in front of the Hondas of Redlind and Tom Nichols. And Archie Smith doing a grand job in the lead of the race at the moment in front of Austin Gresty. It's a very solid run from the young man from Sandbadge, just down the road from here. Archie Smith out in first position, doing a great job as it stands on the Praga chassis. Keeping it nice and tidy through the midsection of the course. Fastest lap of the race as well, 40.949, just pulling out that gap at the moment. We'll obviously have three different class winners from the three different classes. Ashton Redpath only has to finish to win the DRS class because he is the only driver doing so. Championship leader Bray Williamson is not actually here this weekend, but it's worth making mention of Bray Williamson anyway, because obviously there are dropped scores in this championship to take into account, so that doesn't mean that Bray Williamson is out of the action at all. It just means he's not attending this time. So engine difficulties have kept him away from the fray this time, but if they get on top of it in time for the round in July, then he's straight back into the title contention again. So we wish Bray Williamson all the best. I'm sure he's watching along, rather frustrated, but hopefully in July he'll be back to his best. Now, Archie Smith taking full advantage of his absence and running out in first position for the time being, in front of Austin Gresty. Ashton Redpath in third position in the DRS chassis, named after the former Formula 1 driver Daniel Ricciardo. Layla Bell in fourth position in the Micromax kart, in front of the two Honda drivers, Red Lind, who is in the X-Kart awning, and Tom Nichols in the 74 in sixth position. So some great performances so far. Looking at the qualifying laps as well, Archie Smith was able to put together a 40.4, Ashton Redpath put together a 41.4, and the Hondas were on a 41.8. So that kind of gives you a sort of a technical indication as to how different the chassis are, but obviously the driver's doing a great job. The Honda leader in the championship is the man currently leading the class, Red Lind, who is in fifth position at the moment overall, but of course leading the Honda class. You've got to remember as well that there's going to be a couple of drivers with technical difficulties keeping them from racing this weekend as well. Not the least because of the heat that's here. A lot of the engines have been pushed very hard indeed by this unexpected heat wave that's hit Great Britain. Here's the number 9, Ashton Redpath, just keeping it nice and tidy in overall third position. When you're the sole driver in a class, that's basically the best thing you can shoot for, is to try and go for an overall podium. And that's exactly what Ashton Redpath is on the course for doing, as well as looking good to do. But obviously you want to come here and you want to race against competitors. You want to put on the best show possible. You want to improve your form. So Archie Smith exactly 2 seconds clear now of Austin Gresty. And when I say exactly, I mean down to the thousandth of a second. 2.000 as he came across the line. Layla Bell, the young lady from Stockport in the number 33 car, doing a fair job trying to chase down Ashton Redpath. And of course Layla Bell hoping to continue her progression in this sport, doing a grand job in the X-Kart awning. A fantastic team that's only sprung up in the last 3 or 4 seasons of karting, run by Matty Street over at teamkarting.co.uk. And still doing a grand job. Archie Smith comes through, still leading the way on the Praga chassis. Austin Gresty second. There's Ashton Redpath in the Daniel Ricciardo series machine, third position. Then Layla Bell actually catching him by the look of it. And then Red Lind, the leader in the Honda Cadets, ahead of Tom Nichols, who is in second in the Honda category. There is Red Lind, doing a fantastic job. He is also, of course, in the X-Kart awning, the number 13. Unlucky for some, but certainly not for him. He and his dad working very hard on the kart this morning. And certainly looking very strong indeed with that very unique livery that Red Lind runs. He's very distinguishable from everybody else. That's one of the other things I love about IndyKart racing at this particular level, is that because it's all IKR, you get drivers coming along with their own independent liveries. They'll put their own graphics kits on the kart sometimes, because obviously there's no factory run outfits here. There's only independent teams and privateers. And I have to say, I often love it when a graphics kit comes out that you know has had an awful lot of love and devotion put into it. So Archie Smith on the Praga chassis, currently in front of the Madcock driver, Austin Gresty, doing a fair job in second position as they go through the S's. And a very solid run so far from Archie Smith as he goes through the hairpin, back onto the main straight again. And we're getting close to the end of a very solid race drive from Archie Smith, just keeping it nice and tidy. That's the best thing that you can do in these circumstances. A little bit of a squiggle there through turn 1 by the look of it from Archie Smith. As through come Redpath and Bell, they go across the line just past me. Then Red Lind in the Honda and Tom Nichols likewise in behind. Fastest lap of the race has come from Archie Smith. He leads on a 40.396, having steadily just chipped away about a couple of tenths of a second per lap over Austin Gresty. They are currently on the 10th lap, and it's looking fairly straightforward for Archie Smith out in first position at the moment, just keeping it nice and tidy for the time being. Certainly one of the more smoothest of karting races you're going to see from him. Gresty in second. Look back, there's a long gap back now to Ashton Redpath. They've managed to pull out a fairly decent length of time now to Ashton Redpath in third position. 10.7 seconds is the gap. Layla Bell is almost 2 seconds now off Redpath. And then Red Lind is 16 seconds off the leader. So that's the difference between a Micromax and a Honda Cadet after 10 laps? The answer is 16 seconds. And then Tom Nichols is a few seconds further back from Red Lind. But Archie Smith doing a fine job as he comes out of the turn. And we're going into the final lap now. 12 laps of racing in the heats for Micromax, Honda and DRS. Through they come again, in through turn 1 and in through turn 2. The Praga chassis of Archie Smith, part of the IPK group, world champions, of course, in karting back in 2020 with the fabulous Frenchman Jeremy Iglesias, who won them their first world championship 3 years ago. And the Praga chassis very much part of that group. Praga, one of the oldest sports car brands in the world. They turned their hand to karting a few years ago and have had rather varying degrees of success across Europe. And the Praga chassis about to take another convincing victory here in Indikart Plus in the hands of Archie Smith. The checkered flag flies. Archie Smith doing a grand job there with a fastest lap in the closing stages of 40.351. Austin Gresty brings the Mad Croc home in second place. Third position for Ashton Redpath in the DRS chassis. He'll be happy and satisfied with third overall, I'm sure. Layla Bell, fourth position. And then Red Lind in fifth in front of Tom Nichols, the two Honda drivers. But Archie Smith coming through to take the victory. You saw his details just there on the screen. And there is Tom Nichols coming through to finish off in sixth position in his Honda Cadet. So a great run then from the six drivers. Everybody making it home after 12 laps of racing. And of course our attention can turn now to the Senior Rotax 177 heat. We're back in the action once again here at Hooton Park, Indikart Plus 2023 at Hooton Park in Cheshire. And it's the June round of the event, and it's going to be Martin Ingham and Will Dransfield on the front row from Ryan Walker, Ian Prestwich, James Dunn, Sam Booth, Mark Lambert, Roger Moore and David Blackhurst in Senior Rotax 177. Up to the first corner we go. And it's already a fairly bold start as everybody tries to knit through the first couple of corners without incident. A great start from our pole sitter Martin Ingham, who's trying to work his way forward. And a little bit of challenge up to the first corner. Absolute determination to get through in this contact between the two leaders. Will Dransfield tried to get through on Martin Ingham, wouldn't bail out of the corner, nor would Martin Ingham give him any space. And the very first lap of Senior Rotax 177 today sees the two leaders clatter into each other. Goodness me, neither driver prepared to give best. I'd love to see that again, actually, because you've got two drivers absolutely determined to go to the braking zone, and neither was prepared to give best, so they ended up drifting wide. So Lambert is now your leader, Dransfield in second position, and I don't think Martin Ingham will be very happy about that at all. Ryan Walker is third, Ingham is fourth, trying to get back into position again. From Moore, Prestwich, Blackhurst, Dunn and Booth, the starting positions could not be more different to the running order after lap one. And this is a tough circuit to overtake on, so round the outside, Ingham is going to try and make it right round the outside. Surely that's never going to work on Ryan Walker, and it doesn't. As Roger Moore slots in behind him, Martin Ingham from Wigan, desperately trying to work his way forward, having lost out at the start. And now he's going to go side by side with Ryan Walker nearly down to the first corner. But what an exciting battle as fisticuffs very nearly ensue there between Dransfield and Ingham. And both drivers will have an interesting thing to say about that incident afterwards. So Martin Ingham recovering in fourth position. So still they continue to battle away for position, and that's Ingham now having made his way through past Ryan Walker. So he has determinedly, doggedly found his gap and got into third position. So he has now moved forward, and now it's Roger Moore's turn to have a crack at Ryan Walker. Meanwhile, William Dransfield has caught right up to Mark Lambert. Ingham, having made his way through to third, he's taken a long time to do it. So now he's just got to hope that Lambert holds up Dransfield enough so that he can get back into contention. But they've got almost the entire length of the back straight between the two of them. So Martin Ingham still battling for the position, but here is Dransfield all over the back of Mark Lambert. Lambert on the EOS chassis, hanging on in front of the Cosmic of Will Dransfield. As they skate their way through the chicane, Dransfield is trying to get one over on Mark Lambert on a circuit which is notoriously difficult but not impossible to overtake on. Now, that is a mechanical flag being shown. Who is it to? Don't tell me that's for Martin Ingham. I think it might be for Ingham. I think he's got damage to his rear bumper. as Dransfield is going to take his move now on Mark Lambert. He bails out of it. But I think Martin Ingham has got damage to his rear bumper from the incident between him and Dransfield on the opening lap. Dransfield tries again, and again he tries to move on the inside, this time on Lambert, with a little bit of paint rubbing between the two of them. The two tyres banged together there. But Martin Ingham is running in third position. Now we want to stay on the main straight for a little bit here because we've got Lambert and Dransfield. Look at Ingham in the background. Is he about to come into the pits? As well, Dransfield goes for the move for the lead, so he had to come back and look at it. So Lambert down to second place behind Dransfield, but I think Ingham has just pulled in to retire. Devastating for Martin Ingham. Damage to his car from that little bit of a duel between him and Will Dransfield on the opening lap. And I'm afraid that's all gone wrong for Martin Ingham. His kart is damaged and he's going to be absolutely enraged. There's going to be a little bit of a debate between the two drivers about that. Martin Ingham is going to say, you rammed me off the road and I'm afraid I'm out of the race because you broke my kart. Will Dransfield is going to say, no, you turned it on me down in the braking zone and I had nowhere to go but hit you. Two racing drivers having the same opinion is going to be impossible. So Martin Ingham is out of the race and I'm sure bitterly disappointed, to say the very least. But Will Dransfield, now that he's taken the lead, is stretching away. And here comes the move from James Dunn. James Dunn trying to get his overtaking move on Roger Moore. Trying to work his way into position. So again, James Dunn just looking for that gap on the inside. He goes one way, goes the other, as in behind them you've got the number 23 of Sam Booth trying to close up on Ian Prestwich as they duel away the position, coming off the final turn, and James Dunn can't quite get alongside Moore, and as a result he's going to lose ground. Here comes the run up the inside. It's nearly 3 wide of the opening turn. As up the inside, that's beautifully handled by Sam Booth, who knits through past both Dunn and Prestwich. So Roger Moore finds himself in 4th. Booth is up to 5th now, and alongside him James Dunn trying to now go round the outside. Surely that's never going to work, and the JC Motorsport kart lives to fight another day in the top 5. Massive curb though on the inside of the left, and he's going to run wide. There's the move from James Dunn. He gets him, and in desperation Booth tried to get him back at the chicane, lost the back end of the kart and lost momentum. So Dransfield leads Lambert, Walker, and then this battle for 4th. Roger Moore ahead of James Dunn and Sam Booth. So Booth down to 6th in front of Ian Prestwich. Then you've got Blackhurst and Martin Ingham, who of course is out of the race now. What a fabulous little battle this is turning into, as the Rotax 177 drivers don't do second chances. They don't do, well, let's try again next time. It's all in or nothing. The real poker players of Indikart Plus, the Rotax 177 crew. Bit of defensive tactics from Roger Moore, and that's going to cause problems for Dunn. Sam Booth saw the opportunity in the shift in momentum, and now Dunn is going to try and come back at Sam Booth into the first corner. Booth is going to try and go round the outside. Oh, lovely from Sam Booth. Beautiful defensive tactics, and now a brave move from Prestwich. He can't quite get there on James Dunn. A big lock up on the brakes from Booth. I wonder if he's got a problem. I think he's got a problem with the kart, because now he's got James Dunn trying to come around the outside of him. Booth is struggling to hold this kart around the road. Come on, Sam. Mirror signal maneuver is not going to help you on this occasion. You've got to just try and hang on in there. Sam Booth hanging on in front of James Dunn. They go down the straight again. Here comes the slingshot on the inside from James Dunn. Two drivers absolutely on the lock stops on the brakings over turn 1. Dear oh dear. So close as they run through, and again big lock up on the brakes from Sam Booth. Dunn is going to get him on the switcheroo. Thanks mate, thanks for the memories. Trying to leave him enough space just in case they go side by side. But Will Dransfield goes into the last lap. Not that Martin Ingham is going to be particularly happy about it. Mark Lambert in 2nd. Ryan Walker safe and sound in 3rd, having a very quiet race of it. But Roger Moore in 4th ahead of ahead of Dunn, then Booth, then Prestwich, then Blackhurst. But William Dransfield having a smooth race here in the lead and just taking it nice and easy for the time being. He's keeping himself very much to himself as he runs through the chicane for the last couple of times. And this has been a very smooth battle for the Cosmic driver. Other than the first lap, Will Dransfield has had it very much his own way. Mark Lambert coming through in 2nd position across the line in the EOS. And then in 3rd, it is going to be Ryan Walker, who's had a very solitary race in 3rd position. And racing to the line, Roger Moore is just going to hang on in front of James Dunn. Sam Booth, Ian Prestwich and David Blackhurst cross the line. Martin Ingham already out of the race with a broken rear bumper. What a challenge it has been in the first Rotax 177 heat of the day. So great stuff from Senior Rotax. They've definitely entertained us royally. But in a battle that's seen 3 of the drivers disqualified from time qualifying for being underweight, Indikart Juniors is up next with a thrilling battle expected. Continuing on the battle here at Indikart Plus Championship Round 5 2023 at Hooton Park in Cheshire. Some difficulties this morning, we do apologise, but we are going to continue to bring the action as fast and furious as it comes in. Senior Rotax out on the circuit next on a very hot day indeed here at Hooton Park. You could almost call this place the Costa del Vauxhall today. It's that hot. It really is quite chipper for everybody here trying to keep cool. Jack Hayes-Roberts, the man who managed to get it in pole position, got the pole by 1/4 of a second, which is quite an incredible achievement when you consider that the top 16 drivers were covered by less than a second in qualifying. So Jack Hayes-Roberts was definitely able to find something a bit special in time qualifying. So Jack Hayes-Roberts on the front row from Curtis Harding, then Jack Bate and Mackenzie Stevens on the second. Robbie Rathbone and Callum Kinder are on row 3. Christos Likens and Luke Davies are on row 4 from Tommy Austin and Louis Marika. And then Tommy Lee and Lucas Miles from Leo Jackson and Zach Boker. Lewis Smith, James Eyre, James Barrett, Adam Cerner and Billy Keynes at the tail of the field for the time being. So they continue to battle away in position. So we've got Hayes, Robertson, Harding, Bate and Stevens, Rathbone and Kinder, Likens and Davies, Austin and Merica. Let's see how they all battle away through the first chicane of the race, because it's going to be tricky on the way through to there, but they should have all sorted themselves out into a single file formation by the time they get through turn 2 at least. We had a little bit of shenanigans in Junior Rotax on the first lap. What are we going to get from Senior? Let's find out as we go racing out of the first corner. It's going to be tight at the first turn as everybody turns in the hope they can keep it together. Just one run wide through turn 1, but everybody else keeping it neat and tidy as Jack Hayes-Roberts leads the way. Bit of a charge forward. Mackenzie Stevens hasn't had the best of starts. Originally 4th, has now dropped down to about 7th place. Going wheel to wheel with one of the Lando Norris chassis. That is the 34, I do believe, of the 32, I should say, of the very slow starting Curtis Harding. So from the even side of the grid, it's not been fantastic. I think we've had one driver off the road there. But Jack Hayes-Roberts is your race leader, the man from just down the road in Chester, the Cathedral City. Ahead of Rathbone, Jack Bate, Callum Kinder and Christos Likens. So Harding, Stevens and Austin, who are on the even side of the grid, really struggling. Your championship leader is now second. Robbie Rathbone in the number 8, trying to get himself back into a race-winning situation, but ahead of Jack Bate and Callum Kinder. So Kinder trying his best to go for it. Kinder looking strong in behind Jack Bate. So through they come again, and onto the main straight comes Jack Hayes-Roberts, the man who managed to get 1/4 of a second on his opponents in time qualifying. Through they come again. A bit of a run wide from Jack Bate. That's enough for Callum Kinder to get into 3rd, and he's run wide again. So Christos Likens is going to go through, and maybe there's going to be enough of a space for Curtis Harding as well. Harding dives in, drifts wide on the exit. It's going to be 3 wide as here comes Mackenzie Stevens, but he can't get there. Tries to go the long way round on Harding. No chance. Curtis Harding hangs on in front of Mackenzie Stevens, but all at the expense of the man from Newton the Willows, Callum Kinder, struggling there. 5th position now as he comes through. Behind, into 3rd position, I should say. It was Jack Bate that ended up losing ground. He's down to 5th, just in behind Christos Likens. So Jack Hayes-Roberts, your leader. Robbie Rathbone in 2nd place. Here comes Mackenzie Stevens making the bid on the inside of Curtis Harding, and he's into P6. So a good move there from Mackenzie Stevens, while in the background, I think that was Leo Jackson versus Tommy Lee and Tommy Austin. So some great battles. There is Curtis Harding's details, his profile, based here in the county of Cheshire. As along the main straight, Jack Hayes-Roberts continues to hold the lead over Robbie Rathbone. A second is the gap between them. And after 4 laps, that is pretty impressive stuff from Jack Hayes-Roberts. So still going very well as they continue to duel away for position. It's been a very busy day at the office. We had the fantastic duel between Elsie Gannon and Theo Jepson in Bambino. A very quiet day at the office in Micromax, Honda and DRS, as Archie Smith took a very decent and very solid victory. It's definitely been very, very tight in the juniors a little while ago, and in the senior 177 as well. But now we've got the senior Rotax drivers giving us a great bit of dueling as they come down to the first corner. In through the right again, as Leo Jackson runs in front of Tommy Lee and Tommy Austin. Watch for Luke Davies trying to get his bid on the inside line into the hairpin. He decided against it on the Alonso chassis, but there's a chance here for Tommy Lee. He dives in, gets the move, very nicely handled. So Tommy Lee gets the overtake, and that'll do quite nicely indeed for Tommy Lee. So that moves him up into position. So Jack Hayes-Roberts having a great run. Rathbone, Kinder, Likens, and here comes Jack Bate trying to go wheel to wheel with Christos Likens into the first corner as Jack Bate through into fourth place. We'll have to have a look in a moment because there's still a great battle behind them. There's a terrific squabble for fourth position. Christos Likens has found himself at the back of that queue now. Jack Bate is into fourth position, side by side, dueling with Stevens, who gets through past Harding and past Likens. So Mackenzie Stevens has crept up into fifth position. Great bit of dueling there. So Mackenzie Stevens now up to P5. Jack Hayes-Roberts in front, Rathbone second, then Kinder, then it's Mackenzie Stevens in P4. No, he's P5, sorry, behind Jack Bate. And then you've got Curtis Harding ahead of Christos Likens, Tommy Lee, Leo Jackson and Tommy Austin. A terrific run. All 19 drivers still giving as good as they've got here at Hooton Park. But can Mackenzie Stevens now put on a challenge to Jack Bate in front of him? Certainly Curtis Harding. Running very well in P6 at the moment as they work through the S's. Across the line to complete the 8th lap. A good run so far from Jack Hayes-Roberts, but Robbie Rathbone just keeping himself in a decent position points-wise. Second place will add some decent points to the tally. But as they continue to give us lots of action here, Jack Hayes-Roberts holds the lead. He's now opened that gap up to 1.9 seconds over Rathbone. Shows you the kind of speed and pace that Jack Hayes-Roberts truly has here at Hooton Park. A quarter of a second on everybody when you consider that the top 16 karts in time qualifying were covered by less than a second. A quarter of a second is quite a sizable difference between fastest laps. So Jack Hayes-Roberts having a very solid race of it. He's not quite as fast as he was in qualifying, neither in lap time nor in raw pace, but certainly still the fastest driver on track, that's for sure. So Jack Hayes-Roberts still doing his best to get away from Robbie Rathbone as we watch the dueling positions further back. That is James Eyre, Louis Merica and Zach Boker, just outside the top 10, these three. As Robbie Rathbone goes across the line in front of Callum Kinder. Jack Bate and Mackenzie Stevens still having a great race of it. There's Louis Merica from Alderley Edge, not far from here, of course, where the footballers tend to live as well, Alderley Edge. So a fabulous run for the drivers as they continue. There's a mechanical flag going out. Technical flag going out, so somebody is about to retire from the race, unfortunately. I wondered if we were going to see someone pull into the pits. But that's all gone very badly wrong indeed for one driver in particular, as across the line will come Jack Hayes-Roberts to go into lap number 12, which I believe, according to the screen, it's now your last lap. Jack Hayes-Roberts in front of Robbie Rathbone. Callum Kinder in third from Bates, Stevens, Harding, Likens and Lee. But this is going very well indeed for the 88. Jack Hayes-Roberts in the JC Motorsport machine out in front. Just keeping it nice and tidy for the time being as we continue to run in position. And the checkered flag is out on the course. There is Jack Hayes-Roberts. He takes the checkered flag. A great run for him in this one. Robbie Rathbone in second in front of Callum Kinder. A fighting drive. Bate and Stevens to the line almost in front of Harding in sixth from Christos Likens in seventh place. Then Tommy Lee, Leo Jackson and Tommy Austin rounding out the top 10. From James Eyre, Louis Merica and Zach Boker. Lewis Smith in 14th in front of Adam Cerner, and then Lucas Miles ahead of Billy Keynes and James Barrett I think the driver who did not finish the race because of the technical flag was Luke Davies. So he ended up with a technical flag in the closing stages. And that is the first round of heats completed. So a fabulous run for our drivers then. As the first round of heats come to a conclusion, we have the second heats coming up later, starting the rotation at 1:15 local time here at Hooton Park in this 5th round of the Indikart Plus Championship. It's going to be a fabulous afternoon, but now we know the winners of the first heat. The second heat is going to be ones to watch.